What's up, everybody? Back with another one. We're in the kitchen again. Hopefully you guys seen the last video. Really proud of that one. I thought it came together pretty good. But if you did, you know that I shot my first North Dakota buck with a bow, and now we've got it in the kitchen. We've done most of the processing already cut up, bagged up, vacuum sealed. But I'm going to show you a real quick and easy recipe that I put together. I started doing this last year. It's something that I learned about when I was really young, but canned venison. Something that when I got up to North Dakota, it seemed not a lot of people knew about. They were actually kind of impressed with it. But it's super simple. It's something you can do with, I like to do it with the front shoulders because there's not a lot you can do with the shoulder on a deer besides either jerky or maybe a shoulder roast, something like that. I don't make a whole lot of deer jerky just because I like this recipe so much. I use as much as I can for canning. So I'm going to show you the process. And it's something that I know a lot of you guys out there are deer hunters, so it's something that you might actually want to try when you get the chance. So getting started here, first thing I want to say that you're not going to see on camera, we did sanitize these jars before we start. That's a big deal. You want to get all the bacteria you can out of the jars, off the rims, even off the lids as well. You get bacteria in food and it sits for a long time before you eat it. Obviously doesn't go very well. Another thing, I like to chunk my meat up into bite-sized pieces so I don't have to really mess with it anything after it's done when I'm ready to eat it. Also, you want to use non-iodized salt. Don't know why. I'm sure there's some scientific thing, but every video I watched when I learned how to do this said no iodine. So they actually make just plain canning salt. You can use, I'm sure you've seen like the pink Himalayan salt, non-iodized salt. I'll leave it at that. Again, we have sanitized jar. I got this funnel so that none of the meat will touch the rim as it goes in. And it's simple as dropping your chunked meat. You're gonna go about, you wanna fill the jar about 3/4 of the way. So we're gonna go about halfway with the meat, a little bit over half. And then I've got some, I didn't do onions. Just because I went with small jars, I didn't want big chunks of onions, and I like the taste of shallots better anyway. So I diced up some shallots. I'm gonna do half a clove of crushed garlic per jar, and then just a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of pepper. All right, so I got my stuff here. Again, a little over halfway, I guess, however much you want really with the meat. And then we're gonna do a pretty good pinch of the shallots here. Need a knife. Go ahead, crush that garlic. So I normally like to do beef broth with these, just a little bit, normally 1/4 to 1/3 of the jar. I don't have any beef broth this time. I do have bouillon cubes. So what I do, I take a whole cube, cut it up kind of small like that, and then I use one of these smaller quarters, I guess, one per jar. 1/3 to maybe a half a jar of water. Whenever these things cook, the meat itself will produce a lot of juice, so you don't have to worry about filling it all the way with water. Ingredients are in. For seasoning, we're just going to do salt and pepper. That's it. Teaspoon of salt. Teaspoon of pepper. And then grab our cap. Cap it. Ring it. Not super tight on the lid. You don't have to wrench down on it. And there's the first jar ready for the canner. First 12 cans are done. We went with half pint cans. You can do them as big as you want, but half pints are the best. It's kind of like a single serving, really. Now the jars are filled, I'm going to fill up my pressure cooker. I don't have a canner, I've got an Instapot pressure cooker. There's a rack in the bottom, just sets up off the bottom a little bit. Pretty important, if your jars actually sit right next to the heat, it's a possibility that they'll crack. But I'm just gonna throw as many jars in as I can. So we can do 8 half pints. So once we get the jars in, we're gonna fill them to about 3/4 the height of the jar, so almost to the bottom of the ring with water. So literally, however big this pitcher is, one of these. Okay, all right, I'm gonna get this plugged in here. The lid on. Make sure my little steam release is turned off. We're gonna go to the canning function. And then for venison, we're gonna go 95 minutes. And the way these things work, you'll set your time, builds up pressure, and once pressure is built up, I believe this one's for 12 pounds. I've heard recommendations of 15, but I just go with what I got because it's what I've got. But it will build up the pressure, and once that pressure is built up, the timer will start, and we'll show you guys what it looks like when it's done. If you look there, you can see right out of the cooker, they're still boiling inside, still cooking. And then even though, like I said earlier, I only used like 1/4 to a half a jar worth of water in there, you can see how much juice this meat produces. And then they'll sit here and cook for a little while longer, and all the lids will pop and seal there. But that's the process. Now that these are done, once the jars are sealed, they're good for about 2 to 3 years. Though I can almost promise you they're not going to last that long. Are absolutely delicious. My favorite way to eat these for sure is boil some noodles, make some brown gravy. You put your canned meat right on top, pour the gravy over top, make a venison stroganoff. So good. And then literally you can just pop the top right off the can, eat it straight out, heat it up if you want to, you don't really have to. It makes for a great snack. A lot of deer meat now. We still have a lot of duck and goose. If there's recipes you want us to try, please let us know in the comments, send us some messages, whatever you want to do. Let us know what you guys want to see. Hope you guys liked this video, enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave us a like and some comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell so you know as soon as we upload some new content. Thanks for watching.